This is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator Podcast, where CEOs, C-suites, and senior level VPs come together to share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's get right to it. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
My name is Ryan Landry. I went to college at the Chapman University, and I'm lucky enough today to run a training company called New Horizons Learning Group. And what we do is we upgrade people's lives through skills and knowledge, through technology and leadership and professional development training courses.
Wow, that has to be really rewarding to help other people that way. How long have you been doing that?
Yes, it is. I absolutely love it. And I'm going on my 13th year.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for that, because I know Jim Rohn loves to tell us work harder on ourselves than we do on our jobs, right? So that whole skill development is critically important.
Of course, of course.
Question number 2, what's the best thing about leading people from your perspective?
Community, definitely, and doing this with others. Success rarely can be obtained and never can be shared or celebrated alone. Actually got that lesson from a movie I watched many, many years ago.
That's so true. It really does take a village, and we need everybody's contribution to do that. So that's really amazing. And I think from a leadership perspective, again, it's really heartwarming to hear that you're doing it for their benefit as opposed to what you get to accomplish and where you get to go, but where they get to go as a result of that. So that's really cool. Question number 3. I often hear from leaders, business would be great if it weren't for the people part. What do you think about that?
All right. So first off, I understand where those comments are coming from. And I would say that they probably come from a place of emotional distress, perhaps. Maybe the timing's not right. I would venture to say that if that question was asked at a different time period, they may have a different response. But what I can say is I totally understand and relate to that, totally get where they're coming from. What I would say back to that as leaders, this is what we signed up for. And, look back at your career and your history. It was other people that got you to where you are today. And just remember that. It can be a humbling little lesson. And something to support this. Many of you may or may not know, there's a phenomenal leadership coach out there, Marshall Goldsmith. And he's got a book who's titled, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And I think that's something that every leader should read at some point throughout their career.
Absolutely. You remind me of the whole pay it forward concept when you say that, right? And there's just some element of, I believe, along with the power of leadership comes the responsibility to truly pay it forward in a meaningful way. So I appreciate
forward, servant leadership. Absolutely.
Yeah. Giver's gain. There's lots of ways that they say that now. That's great. Thank you. Question number 4. What other successful business leaders like yourself do you think should be on my podcast? Who else would have great insights that people would benefit from?
I've got one for you. One of my really good friends, Brian Cohen. This guy is probably the most cutting edge, one of the most cutting edge humans that I know. Absolutely love the guy to death.
That's amazing. Well, good. Well, I'll look forward to learning more about him, and hopefully the audience will get a chance to go look him up as well. And we'll see about getting him on a future show.
Happy to connect you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great. Number 5, what piece of advice about communication would you give to other leaders?
Seek to understand, not be understood.
Has that one bitten you before, or is that one that you learned early on and you just have always stayed true with?
All of the above, right? All of the above.
Yeah, exactly. We tend to learn more from the ones that we make the mistakes on, but yes, that whole idea of seeking to understand first before forming an opinion, I think, is critically important.
Of course.
It's almost like when the doctors tell you, proper prescription without proper diagnosis equals malpractice, right? It's that, again, that whole idea of truly understanding before prescribing a solution.
Oh, absolutely. Communication is one of the hardest things to master, and it's taken me many, many years, and I still have a long way to go.
It's a journey, friend. I think that part we could all agree on. Yeah. All right. So my magic question number 6, tell us about your favorite boss or teacher. Who was influential to you?
Can I do a coach instead of
Sure.
a boss or
Yeah.
teacher? All right. Um, when I was younger, before the college days, I had this baseball coach. His name was John Elliott, and I firmly believe that that man has made me who I am today. I played on this team for a handful of years. We had many brutal days in the 100-degree heat, many late evenings, working out at the batting cages, throwing bullpens. And when I look back at it, I think what I got more out of his tutelage over the years were more life skills than baseball skills, believe it or not. And two things really stick out to me. One is accountability and dedication. And he built this culture of, having faith and trust in yourself, but also to make sure that you don't ever let down the rest of the team. And there was absolutely no way that I could let down the rest of our team. This guy, I think about him almost constantly, many times, throughout my life since I've moved on. And what I can say about him is I had talent when I was younger, but I was not superior with that talent whatsoever. I'd say I was mediocre at best. And Coach John, enabled me to get way further in the career in the game of baseball than I ever should have. And I owe that all to him. And when I look back at this in my more mature years, it's fun to reflect and realize, wow, I actually pulled that off. Jesus. I don't have athleticism in my genes by any means. And there are a lot of lessons that I continue to reflect on today. Another big one from him is we talk about rising to the occasion. And I learned, looking back at this, I've heard this phrase thrown out there before, but you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your highest level of preparation. And I firmly believe that. I think it's a fundamental truth. And that's something that I try to share and get the rest of the folks that I work with and I'm lucky to work with to buy into the same program. And there's a fun little exercise, and this wasn't from Coach John, but it's once I went through this exercise myself, I share it with everybody. Stacey, each one of us, we have more in us. And I think I heard this from one of my Navy SEAL friends. And I want you to do an exercise for me. Sure. All right. So raise your hands as high as you can. And I'll do it with you. And all your listeners out there, let's do the same. Both hands up as high as you can. Mm-hmm. All right. So once you're there, are your hands up?
They're up.
Beautiful. Okay. Now raise them just a little bit higher. A little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to raise them a little bit higher?
I was, yeah.
All right. So that's that extra 5% in life. And the majority of us, the vast majority, don't ever push us to that level. And once I was able to really wrap my head around these types of lessons, I truly try to give it everything I possibly can. Whether it's hanging out with your kids, talking to a coworker, studying, prepping, whatever, there's that extra 5% that most humans stop at 95. And there's that extra 5% that really, in my opinion, is where success is made or not made. And I think we all need to do as best job as we can in getting to that extra 5%.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And this is really my favorite question because it's interesting. The more, leaders like yourself that I interview, this is the question that hands down, they all have like these stories that they just immediately pull from and start telling. And I feel like it's the one attribute that like is the consistency from leader to leader. The ones that talk about really helping others to grow, they're the ones who can pull examples and spades from other people who have touched them and led them in the same way. So it's really exciting to see that, again, your idea and your philosophy around pay it forward or, really being there for other people, just how powerful it is. And it seems so simple, but it's not necessarily so easy in the day to day. And so I think, again, that's one of the hallmarks of a great leader is, being really present and giving of yourself in this way. So I really appreciate that. And I know the folks listening to will also appreciate that. So, so thank you so much for being on. Let me ask, how can people find you?
Very easily. I live in sunny San Diego. I love it. It's 75 degrees and sunshine, 360 days a year.
Yeah.
You can find me on Facebook, Ryan Landry, LinkedIn. Feel free to email, reach out, connect. I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. I'd welcome the opportunity. I'd appreciate it very much.
That's perfect. Okay, good. Well, I'm sure some folks will go out there and look you up. In the meantime, this is Stacy McKibben with the Master Communicator Podcast. For more insights and ideas, please go to www.concilioteam.com and you'll get all your answers there. We look forward to serving you the next time.
Thanks, Stacy.